First and foremost, I want to just say, if you absolutely are freaking out about my videos being missing and you want to see them, they should still be available on Anyway, we're still here to tell you all of us are still witnesses to you guys out there who think that Torah is impossible and no one can do it, and that's why you need Jesus. So in a sense, you kind of get this impression. What I'm saying is, when I see these people looking at me, and I remember that feeling, and I recall the way they felt like I was a hero. I was a hero. Of my siblings, and that's the same thing they recommended to me as well after we did the ASVAB. Cryptological linguist, and send me to California, learn a different language, and do intel stuff. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I am like a super awesome bad mamma jamma, and I'm gonna go kill some people. I am bad mamma jamma, and I'm gonna go kill some people. Anyway, we're still here to tell you all of us are still witnesses to you guys out there who think that Torah is impossible and no one can do it, and that's why you need Jesus.
Take me away. Take me away. Take me away.
Anyway, we're still here to tell you all of us are still witnesses to you guys out there who think that Torah is impossible and no one can do it, and that's why you need Jesus.
And we are live. I'm Ronnie Harris of the Limitless Channel, and I'm here with Jason Laufenberg of Awake Souls. We've got a topic tonight that we've discussed for years now and actually has come to pass. It is not what we always want when we see things and call it out as could be disinformation, but unfortunately it turns out that we were correct on this one. So Jason, how you doing, bro? It's Sunday night, man. We're live.
Like you mentioned, this is nothing new. So we've got people in the chat. Like I want to say, thank you to Lexa Van Man, who's been here since you were event skeptic. So that people like this understand that this is nothing brand new. We're not just all of a sudden isolating and picking out Justin Best or J.Breezy um, as a target just so that we can get clicks and views off of this. We've actually been on these topics for going on 4 years now, and for the people that have been around, they know and understand that there's nothing new about this. It's really just sort of the fulfillment of we've been watching certain channels, we've isolated them, we've called them out, we've talked about them, and then eventually what happens is these channels implode. They just they're they collapse in on themselves, and you know, in the process of so doing, we want to make sure that they're completely annihilated, that there's no remnants of them left behind. So tonight we're going to be going through Justin Best and his role in Christian Truthers, which is an oxymoron once we start to go through this information. And we just want to make sure that Justin Best, J.Breezy, gets completely annihilated and fully eliminated from the game, because as a Christian, that's what you want. You don't want these people around anymore, and we're going to continue to show all the evidence why we would say something like that. So it's really going to be for the people that have been around for a while, sort of they've seen this before, but here it comes again. And it's like you said, not something that we want to be true. In fact, we've done everything that we can warn and preemptively prevent something like this from happening, yet we continually run into these situations. So here we are, brother, once again.
Yeah, and like I had called out before, we both did, that we seen the whole entire train wreck happening. First, they're questioning Paul, and we said, yeah, what do you think they're going to do next? They're going to go after another book, and the entire New Testament ended up, it was the thumbnail. It was called The New Testament Killers. We had Adam Fink and Justin Best from Christian Truthers. And I also told him in one of the videos, man, you need to change your name. You're not even a Christian. You're anti-Christian. And so he's changed his name. He's also taken all of his videos down because he's got a lot of Paul's readings, New Testament sayings. So he's out here preaching about ethics and morals, and, saying that there's another way to the kingdom other than the salvation, that the Father sent his Son to die for our salvation. He's saying you just have to keep the law. You have to, don't do anything on the Sabbath, and, love your neighbor, he said, and you can get in. You don't need to have any belief in the New Testament or any of the actions that Yahawahashai did here. All the miracles, all the resurrection, the entire fulfillment of the law. You do away with that. You don't need it.
But it's not the full extent of what he's pushing right now. So one of the things that I want to point out is that what so commonly happens, and we have people that have been along long enough to see this happen over and over and over, is that when we call out certain channels like this and they go through their implosion process, we see them try to come out and reinstitute themselves as an anti-narcissist channel, and like rebrand themselves. We're anti-narcissist now. So it's an ongoing, reoccurring theme every time we come against the channel and expose just the stupid psyops that are coming out of it. And so we're going to see that again. Justin Best is going to be another one of these anti-narcissist channels, and we want people to actually evaluate for themselves whether or not this is the person that you should be taking anti-narcissist advice from, because it seems rather misplaced if you actually watch their content. So we'll be going through that tonight. We've got some timestamps. We want to go through his new content, right?
It seems to be the defense of anyone that comes online publicly and then starts talking about things and giving people their message, their ideas, and then after they say those things, and those things aren't correct with the truth, and they're actually a detriment to us, then they turn around and say the people that are exposing that their ways are not healthy, they're not good, there's no fruit in them, then they say, oh, well, that person that's explaining to everybody about what I'm wrong about, they're narcissists. That seems to be the only defense that anyone ever has. Like, we would spend all this time and dedicate it to documenting everything, all of what we see that's about the truth, especially about people that are online teachers that call themselves Christian Truthers. We're definitely going to want to watch those guys and say, hey, is this guy staying incorrect with the Bible? If I'm called to be a watchman and I see someone approaching with an army and I don't blow the horn and warn everybody, I'm a useless watchman. I don't deserve to be a watchman. So that's what we've always done. There's no secrets about it. Our channel's been that way. I don't have anything against Justin. I love his gardens. I think he seems to have a great heart. But for someone that's been a killer, supposedly says that he killed people, to then take out the guy in the Bible who was involved in killing people, and then was made like the open doorway to Scripture through what he had been through as a testimony and a witness, and to take Paul's writings away, we only saw the slippery slope that it was headed down. And here we are, we're 2021 now. Justin Best has come back and branded himself J.Breezy, which is odd because my Facebook handle for most of my life was RJ.Breezy. That was what I went by. So, it's just a weird synchronicity that sort of took place. I'm glad he changed his channel name. I've said that again. So I guess we've been over this for years now, but I guess each step of the way we've said something and then he's gone and done it. So have we manifested it, or do you think that this was his path all along?
All right, so I want to paint a few broad strokes here for the audience so that they understand the context of what it is that we're talking about. So Ronnie and I, we were both active non-curved earthers as the Revelation 12 sign came into play. So we caught this through our feeds right away, jumped on it. We're Bible guys, we're Christians. This was really our introduction into understanding the celestial signs rotating above us. So we jumped into it and we immediately paid attention to who was it that was covering the Revelation 12 sign. So I'm going to ask from the chat right here to let me know if I'm missing any key players. But as Ronnie and I saw it, as the Revelation 12 sign was going down, we saw the original guy. And what was his name? That
Adam?
No, the guy that really
Mike?
brought out
On Point
what?
Preparedness? Which guy?
No, the Revelation 12 guy that
Scotty
as soon as
Clark.
Scotty Clark, thank you.
Affiliated with InfoWars.
Yeah, so Scotty Clark was the big guy who got just massive inundation of views and but then there was this smaller clique of channels that came up covering the Revelation 12 sign, which in my estimation includes Steve Fletcher 222, who I originally enjoyed his content. I thought it looked like he was heartfelt and a watcher and all this kind of stuff. Maybe even a watchman, I would go so far, but who is he actually called out as a deceiver? Who is
Dr. Barry Oz, who we actually watch and agree with some of the things that he says.
Exactly. That's the only thing he has to his credit, and it's a fake call out because we understand Dr. Barry Oz to be part of the same team. So there was Fletcher, there was Adam, Parable of the Vineyard, who we were attracted to and felt like these were genuine, heartfelt messages.
Yeah, he did great Feast of Trumpets content. He really did the sign. He matched it up with the scriptures. He was very emotional. It was well put together. I enjoyed his content. We supported it. We shared it in videos and left the link and drove as many people as we could to his content. And then slowly but surely his message went a little bit more towards Judaizing and a little bit more towards Judaizing. And then along the way, Justin Best showed up, right? I'll shoot it back to you, not to take your story.
No, I mean, I'm going to add Tooney, Jerry Tooney to that list.
I still watch his channel.
And I'm curious if anybody else has any other significant Revelation 12 sign YouTube channels that are still active in publishing content today, because if you could share me the link with it, I would like to see where they are, what's been going on. It's interesting to me that we're whittled down to just a couple of these characters over and over and over, and Adam being one of them. One of the things that we did, because we were already non-curved earthers, we started watching the Revelation 12 sign, then we reached out to each and every one of these other supposedly end time watchman type channels and let them know Earth is not curved and the Freemason New World Order AE map and model is impossible. And this was just a blanket message that we just slapped everybody with over and over and over again. And it was interesting because Adam Fink, Parable of the Vineyard, would show up at our hangouts. He'd be in the chat a little bit, but he was very unreachable. We never had the conversation with him, so to speak. And then we're going along, we're doing our stuff, and then all of a sudden he brings in Rob Skiba, of all people, who we had, up until that point, I don't think that there was a fake Christian, fake flat earther that we had dedicated more minutes to, more coverage of, as far as exposing as being pure psyop, pure BS. And so when he did that, we like, this was like one of those like, we lost it, and we did everything that we could to scream and cover that Adam Fink, Parable of the Vineyard, you are promoting the Freemason New World Order AE Mappa model, which is 100% Kabbalistic bullshit, and we can debunk it like with a child's like mentality. And he just plowed right through with it, and he did this with Justin Best. Like, he brought this guy in. If you could bring some more details to that whole situation, because you actually know the Christian Truthers YouTube channel name, like somebody else had it, and there's this weird story behind that.
Yeah.
We've talked about it so many times, but if you could sort of like let people understand that the backstory as far as the different characters that Adam tried out on his channel that didn't seem to really pan out, and then the connection that he had with J.Breezy.
Yeah, well, he had, Caleb, a guy from France. He also had on Mike from On Point Preparedness. Mike was the first one to bounce. He had another guy on named Reggie, right, who's really a great guy. We had him on our podcast as well. And then Justin showed up, and just before Justin showed up, there was a Christian Truthers channel with a very similar logo, almost the same. And he was in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and he was like a military / Christian truth YouTube channel with like, he basically did the stuff the same way as End We Know. I know a lot of people probably don't know that channel, but he was a good channel. He also had a woman that worked with him on the Christian Truthers channel. They still do like email. They put out emails to people with truth content still. But then Justin Best showed up, and then he had that name, and then him and Adam paired up. And it wasn't very long that they were now starting to grow their beards. We discussed everything that Jason had mentioned about the AE map being absolutely not possible, and that it was being used to take down the scriptures as being valid, right? Because the earth isn't described as a pizza with a dome over it. That's what these guys are saying. And so Adam plowed through, like Jason had said, and Justin as well. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Justin was then, they were doing a lot of like Sabbath keeping, Torah law keeping, and doing all that, which, again, if you want to try to follow the law, go ahead. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. We've always just shared that the New Testament, the dispensation of Yahawahashai, taught us that it was fulfilled because no man was saved by it. It became pious. It became something that the Father hated, and he came to fulfill it as he did to redeem Adam, right? It was a actual like prophecy that was told to Adam when Adam was here on earth in this realm, and that he would send Yahawahashai. Yahweh told him through his word that he would send Yahawahashai to redeem Adam for salvation. And Yahawahashai went into the grave and rescued Adam, broke out the gates of hell, took the keys back, right, and went back up to heaven with a bunch of people, and he showed the way. So that's part of what Justin Best is trying to take out of the truth. And we got to stand up. We got to speak. The higher level understanding is completely explained through the New Testament. All the different books that were written that are Holy Spirit inspired completely paint us the picture and description of how to live, including using Old Testament stuff with it. It's tied together. John the Baptist was the man who literally made the connection between the old and the new, and he was the one that was sent first to make straight the way for the salvation of mankind. That's what took place. I can't even believe, you guys on the other side of the screen right now, that there's someone out here trying to say that all that isn't true, and that all you have to do is keep the law, keep the Sabbath, don't eat any shellfish, and you're going to get into the kingdom of heaven. That's what their message is, and he's got the morals.
No more bacon.
Yeah, and you can't eat bacon either. It's, it's incredible what we've seen and what we've got clipped up. I don't know if you want to screen share first, or if you have stuff that you wanted to comment on.
I don't know, we can get into some of that screen share stuff now. So just I felt like that was a good opener on the topic. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're not just isolating Justin Best, J.Breezy, because we think this is somehow going to get us more views and we're going to be more popular because of this. It has to do with isolating where the disinformation comes from and picking off the top people that disseminate it. So he's the guy that brought into question Paul. Now on his way out, he's like, "Oh, New Testament, I'm out." Like, and so we're gonna go through his explanation for the reason why he took down all of his Judaizing videos, and we're gonna talk about where he's going, and hopefully, like, there's enough people out there that have common sense and can put two and two together, that as we go through this and you actually see who Justin Best is and what he is doing, hopefully this guy just gets taken. I'm not talking about physical harm. I'm just talking about he's just eliminated from the game, like we're playing chess, and boom, his king falls, and that's it, game over for him. So I don't wish him any physical ill will. I don't have any personal vendetta against him, but I see the disinformation and the position that he's playing from, and I see that as an enemy to the truth that must be defeated. So I will play for the win there.
Yeah, and everybody knows I got nothing against him. As a person, I like him. I think he's a good editor. There's a lot of good things. He's a good researcher. He has a lot of great things going for him. I can't speak to anything else in his life except for what he shares as doctrine and lessons for people. And I'm not the judge, nor am I trying to say that I'm somehow better than Justin. All I care about is the truth, and the truth doesn't care about me or Justin. It stands on its own. It will always be wisdom. She will always be at the gates, regardless of what I do or what Justin does. The truth stands alone. We're just witnesses who document things. I'm even going to play a clip later. We were talking about it. We document everything. That's why we have the clips that now are gone off Justin's channel. Right, they're gone, but we still have them because we documented it. So I don't know if you want to get your screen share going, but yeah, thank you everyone on the other side of the screen. Sorry about the intro sound issues. I'm getting used to new settings tonight, but I tried anyways. I thought it was interesting, but let's get into this, bro.
Let me get.
Sorry. Thank you everyone for coming too.
All righty here. So I think the way to get into this topic is with comments, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important things out there, people. I can't say enough about comments. I feel that there's 3 ways that you can influence this world, and if you know of more ways, let me know, because you can either say something, you can put words in writing, and you can do something. Those are the 3 things that I can isolate as ways to interact with this world. So words are super, super important. We do our best. We try to get as much vocalized words as we can out there because they're easier. These written ones are actually more important, in my opinion. And so Nancy Kent 3 days ago said, just today, Justin Best admitted that he questioned the entire NT. So this is New Testament. I want the entire audience to just become familiar with NT as New Testament so that we don't have to stop and say New Testament. We can just abbreviate things. NT, New Testament, along with not only the divinity of the Messiah, but also his existence. So Nancy just said that Justin Bass questioned the existence of Yahawahashai. He was on that slippery slope already when he rejected Paul last year. And of course, this is another one of the times that we took time out of our busy calendar, calling out everybody else to call out Justin Best when he rejected Paul last year. Justin deleted all of his Christian Truther videos and is now calling himself J.Breezy. So sad. Both Adam and Justin were supporting Sean Griffin in denying the Trinity. Good job exposing and rejecting their ministries. So this is weird. I want to hear Adam and Justin actually deny the Trinity over and over and over again, and I want to hear all their explanations for why the Trinity is wrong, because these guys are Kabbalists, and the Trinity is pure Kabbalism. So I've never heard them deny the Trinity. Good job exposing and rejecting their ministries. But I have a lot of respect for Rob Skiba. He helped me into Torah and show me that the earth is truly flat. So I came back with a response like, we cannot say that we did not see that coming with Justin and his crew. So literally, like what we're doing right here, this is just a repeat of what we've done so many times now. I understand that Rob Skiba may have helped you understand Earth is not a spinning ball in space, but he is another Freemason COINTEL channel. He only promotes the Freemason New World Order AE map model, which we have debunked as completely impossible and retarded for over 3 years. He has also run PSYOPs like the Chicago skyline. It's a mirage content. We've been calling out Rob from the beginning for being a Freemason failed actor that lies and deceives his audience continually with no repentance. So, brother, this is one of those areas where, I mean, the history that we have with Rob Skiba, he was really, when we came out as anti-AE mappa modelers, there's so much content that we did that was anti-Rob Skiba, because he was, at the time, he was the so-called Christian that was tying the AE mappa model to the Bible. Do you know of anybody else during that time period that was attempting to tie the Freemason model?
Yeah, Russian vids is one.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, there's many other channels, actually. There was a bunch of FE channels that were doing that very same thing.
But weren't they just plain Rob Skiba clips?
Yeah, a lot of them. And some would have their own rendition of it. And then, Nathan Roberts was another major guy that did the same thing over and over. A bunch of different channels, right? But Rob Skiba was the main guy. He was the most produced, the most shared. He was on Truth Frequency Radio as well as with Zen Garcia. He was another major player, still is in their team. Who else do we have?
And he is an actor. And
Zen might be second in the tying the AE map and model to the Bible with the most reach. Who we had on too. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, both of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So we know those characters involved, and stuff like the Chicago skyline. We covered it deeply so many times. I don't know how many times we went into full depth and showed the complete psyop that it was 100% BS, the Chicago skyline, that it was a Freemason television show that was just showing some pictures saying it's a mirage, and then they had this back and forth Joshua Nowicki thing, and all the evidence for it was fake, and we proved it over and over and over again. So Nancy came back with, well, I will reserve judgment on Rob Skiba. I just don't find your evidence convincing. Just because he likes the azimuthal map doesn't make him suspect for being a Freemason. I have heard him, well, how about his show Seed, where he's got the E's facing each other and he's doing the 33 thing. I have heard him say that he's not sure what the map looks like. It has nothing to do with what the map looks like. This is one of the worst excuses we have ever come across. It has nothing to do about what the map looks like. It has to do with the sun and moon doing circles. That right there is the end of the argument. He was offering the AE map as a possibility. No, we've explained that it's impossible. And just because he's a former actor doesn't make him suspect. Well, how about his partner that he did the Chicago Skyline with, Rick Hummer? He's another failed actor. Have you seen any of his content? All right. I've seen his video from the Chicago Skyline and saw nothing Let me get my mouse thing on so people can follow this. And saw nothing suspect in that either. In fact, I think he did a really good job in another video explaining what happened with refraction in this case. But maybe you're right, and I will keep my eyes open. Well, I hope you do. So I responded, you are entitled to believe what you want. You can say but I can say with experience that Rob is the original fake Christian, Torah observant Judaizer. So now all of a sudden we're back in the same category with the Adam Finks and the Justin Bess to attempt to tie the Bible to the Freemason New World Order AE map and model. His partner in crime was Rick Hummer or Roland Reddy, another failed Freemason fake Christian actor that was made MC, which is Master of Ceremonies, a Freemason position at the fake Flat Earth conventions. Those were the ones that were hosted by Robbie Davidson, who uses the exact same logo as
Flat Earth Society.
Exactly.
Sorry, I just had to jump in.
Exactly. We have covered the Chicago Skyline PSYOP so many times, but here is one I grabbed and timestamped for you. And so because my content was down, I had to actually search my channel. I found the most recent time we had covered this PSYOP, and I made sure to get it republished because I have to go through and I'm, retitling, retagging, putting up new thumbnails, trying to make everything look all pretty. And so I shared a link. So this is really what set this all off, because Nancy came in and let us know, I told you right away, that Justin is denying the New Testament, deleting his so-called Christian Truthers content, and we right away were like, hey, what's going on here? So that is what led to the rest of tonight's content, which is this stuff, right? J.Breezy, almost 50,000 views. And I don't know, so he goes from being anti-Paul and anti-New Testament, and this is the new look. He's got him bearded out with, this looks like frozen custard that's melting on him. So I don't know what kind of symbology there is in that, but this is the direction he's going. And this is how he let everybody know about it. So I sort of want to just click on this video. We'll run through it. And I know you have timestamps. So let's check this one out and see what J.Breezy has to say.
I think you have to move it to the second square.
Making ourselves better.
Like this? Let me know if this...
Do
you want me to go full screen?
Redo this here.
Should I go full screen?
You can. That's better. And you're good.
Second, preparing our children for a very strange, difficult, yet exciting and challenging future. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? So obviously there's been some changes that have been made to the channel over the last couple of days. You may have noticed that all of my videos are completely gone off the Christian Truthers YouTube channel. First, just know that is intentional. Second, I'm going to try and explain as best as I can. First of all, I'm sorry I'm in my bathroom, but I literally have nowhere else to record right now. My kids have hijacked the living room and it's too loud for me to use my office right now. And I've been pushing this off kind of, well, I've been trying to find a time to do it. Anyway, this is the best I have for now, so
All right, I just want to stop and interject. I hadn't thought about this before, but I am now as I'm listening to this. He's dedicated almost 4 years of his life to a channel where he's trying to teach people that Paul's not legitimate and you have to be a Torah observant. And when he goes to delete his channel, he's letting everybody know that the only place in his house that he's able to even speak is his bathroom because his kids have taken over everything. So there's something to me, like, if I had dedicated all this time to my channel, I think I could have told my kids, be quiet, I'm making a video right now. Like, something seems off to me already.
first and foremost, I want to just say, if you absolutely are freaking out about my videos being missing and you want to see them, they should still be available on library.com. I have that set up to where it automatically backs up all my videos. So if you go to library, they should still be over there if you still are looking for those. And I believe you can download them from library as well. But why are they not on the YouTube channel anymore? Well, as many of you know, I have been sharing with you all my sort of spiritual journey over the last 4 years. Sharing with you all the research I was digging through and trying to explain my position on things, on a lot of topics for almost 4 years. Well, hang on, how long has it been? Yeah, almost 4 years. And in that I've posted some stuff that's been considered controversial to different Christian groups throughout that time. From the very beginning, there's always Christian.
Yeah, did that have to do with stuff like saying that you're a bad mamma jamma and that the reason why you signed up in the military was to go kill the bad guy?
Christians that are upset no matter what you say, pretty much. And you guys know it's true. But
So,
you know,
hang
some
on.
of the teachings more recently,
Hold on.
last year.
This has nothing to do with being upset. If I get upset, it's called righteous indignation for the truth, the love of the truth. That's what's waxing cold. It's waxing cold in you. You're not accepting truth anymore. You're the one who's being the arbiter. You're saying that the New Testament isn't true, right? That's what you're literally doing while coming out here saying that other people, right? It doesn't matter what you say. They're going to be mad. But it's nothing to do with anger. This is about the truth. I don't understand how he can just come out here and say that after everything that he's been on here with thousands and thousands of people following him, right? And then completely try to take out salvation for mankind himself single-handedly. And then he comes on here and says, well, nothing I can say goes well with Christians. Literally, I don't understand the misfiring here in the realm with this guy and his character, how he's out here trying to be all sweet and cuddly, and then at the same time trying to undermine the foundations that were set for the New Testament and the scriptures. I don't understand that. It doesn't, error in my mind.
Well, hopefully by the time we're done tonight, people are going to be able to see that the reason why he used the name Christian Truthers was it was a honeypot. It was a honeypot because he has absolute 100% disrespect for anybody that would think of themselves as a Christian. And so he used Christian Truthers as a honeypot to suck people in, and he has complete disrespect for Christians. It should be obvious by the time we're done.
Concerning Paul and issues I was finding with the New Testament. It caused a lot of drama, a lot of chaos. I'm still thankful to a lot of channels who decided to go ahead and expose me to their subscribers. I really do appreciate.
Has anybody exposed him like we do? I think there's a couple. Well, actually, I did a search for him being exposed, and what I came up with was a whole bunch of like really Freemasonic looking guys with similar beards and similar tattoos saying, no matter what, brethren, we have to stick with Justin Best and never ever go against him in any sort of way because I know him as a brother. And so that just tells me he's got guys in the military supporting him.
Appreciate that. Some of those subscribers have emailed me, letting me know that they've learned a lot from these other channels exposing me to them. So thanks, guys. But all kidding aside, I've come to a place where I am no longer.
Was that thanks, guys, directed directly at us?
Nah, I think that would be narcissistic for us to think that. I think he's talking about the whole Torah community, all the people that went against him. There were so many different channels. There
were other channels too.
Yeah, that's correct.
Longer comfortable being the one to tell anyone what is spiritually true or untrue. I know that sounds crazy since I've been doing that to some extent for a while, but the more you dig, the more you realize how a case can be made for all different types of things. A case can be made for the authenticity of the writings of Paul. A case can be made against that authenticity, and the same can be said for pretty much the entirety of the New Testament. I've been spending a lot of time digging through all that, reading a lot of books, watching a lot of videos, and I've come to the conclusion that I will share with you a little bit more about what I believe at the end of this video. For now, I want to just first address those of you who have been with me this entire time. Your support of all kinds.
I do want to point out that he was not able to do this in one take. That's for sure. Just watch the amount of cuts that are in this, and it's super pieced together. So what's he looking at? What's he reading from right here? This seems really contrived to me right now.
Has been absolutely monumental to the development of not just myself, but also my family, and also this channel. You guys have just been awesome, like so supportive, so great. Of course, there's always people out there who are going to have problems with things you say and believe, no matter what you say or talk about on YouTube. But I've been very blessed to be surrounded by people who really have shown me a lot of love and a lot of support. And I want to thank you guys sincerely for sticking around this long. I really hope you'll stick around longer, because I know that I haven't been around much this last year, but I actually plan on getting way more into this again, into YouTube, into talking again, albeit not about Christian theology or Hebrew spirituality, but
so no more Christianity, no more Hebrew theology.
Spirituality, I think he said.
Spirituality. Yeah, I know that background as well.
About something else that I believe is very important, which I'll get to in a second, but I just want to thank you again. It's been crazy.
I just cut. Pay attention to all the cuts in this. Cut. Oh, big smile. Cut. He's ready. His next line. It's
been a wild ride. Some of you have just probably stayed subscribed just to see what next thing I would talk about or introduce. Some of you have stayed around because you genuinely appreciate some of the insights that I've found and shared. But just thank you. I just want to thank you again, and I'm so overwhelmed with gratitude for your support. What am I choosing to focus on instead? I'm choosing to focus instead on something that extends to every person in the known world. It extends beyond theology and beyond religion, although it shouldn't.
All right, so we're going beyond theology, beyond religion. We had beyond flat Earth, but how can we go beyond theology and beyond religion? Like, isn't there only one? Like something's going off the rails right here.
It should be something that religions are very good at teaching, but unfortunately, the present circumstances have demonstrated that we're not. So what I'm focusing on instead is a little thing called empathy. And don't get all like, oh, that's lame and boring, psychosocial crap, not interested, don't want to hear you talk about psychology anymore, right? Well, I'm not going to sit around and talk about psychology. Okay, that's not the intent of this channel. That's not what I'm going to do. Instead, I plan on really sharing with you more about my life, about my background. I just think it's extremely important that we make sure.
He's going to share more about his life, his background. I want to show you this video right here. It's titled Why I Deleted All My Videos from YouTube, J.Breezy. And I want to scroll down here. And I want to show you the tags from this channel. I don't know if this is going to show up too well right here, brother. But it says J.Breezy, J.Breezy, J.Breezy. Why I deleted my videos. Empathy for kids. Empathy. Mindful parenting. Soft skills. Empathy unboxing. Social emotional learning. Kids mental health. Narcissistic mother. Narcissistic abuse. NPD. Narcissistic personality disorder. Rebecca Zung. Covert narcissist, triangulation, gaslighting, just and best, invalidation, hypersensitivity, complex PTSD, ICD, CPTSD, feeling overwhelmed, and holistic health. So these are the words that he chose that were the video tags here. So it's literally the direction that he is going.
It seems like a cry for help. You know, it's quite interesting how this is all transpired. So it's interesting that his tags are like that, and the targeting that he's doing with his content, which everybody just saw. So it's good that we've documented that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that we really understand what we're missing here with this whole narcissistic society / world that we live in. It's not some small thing that only a few people are plagued by. We're talking about 70% of people I meet these days are narcissistic and are struggling with narcissistic personality disorder. That's fine and dandy.
70% of the people that he meets are narcissistic and are struggling with narcissistic behavior. How many times have we run into this every time we call out a channel?
Almost every time. We prefaced it earlier by saying to people, this is what happens. They come online, they do a bunch of disinformation, and then when they get called to task on it, they say, well, the other person's a narcissist, right? Everywhere they go, they just see narcissists.
So this is their argument against the people that come against them. And we are going to demonstrate that when they do this, that they are 180 degrees reversing it completely. And it should be obvious.
Well, not really, that's terrible. But that's not the point. The point is narcissistic people have a extremely, tremendously negative impact on everyone that they interact with, especially their friends and family. especially their children. And because of the use of smartphone technology, social media technology, and a lot of other factors that we're going to talk about to an extent, we are watching a
To an extent, how much do you have to pay to get the full content? Right? You're not going to tell everybody everything. You want Patreons, but you're not going to tell them the full story.
generation be raised across every country, across every religion, that is literally completely lacking in compassion, completely lacking in empathy. They're nihilistic, self-destructive, rebellious, and 1000% unstable in terms of the psychological and emotional development. What I'm basically saying is there's a whole race of young people being bred into a form of, honestly, psychopaths because of this type of abuse. And I don't think we are spending enough time as a culture ensuring that we set our children up for success by first
hold on.
freeing ourselves from the abuse.
Hold on. So it's great that he's saying this, but this should just be an inherent rule in people. You should be empathetic and compassionate towards children. This doesn't need to be something, well, sure, it should be brought to the forefront, for sure. But what I see here is a form of projecting that into the realm, and really not really looking at the key things, like how do we be though? How are we those things? He's not explaining any of that. He's just saying these are the issues that we got to work on. But what he also is doing is saying that the whole New Testament that teaches us these great lessons on love from the Holy Spirit, he says, well, that's not we can't use that as a guide. But I'm going to be the one now that's going to start the revolution to be more compassionate for children. That's what he's saying. Well, in the beginning of the video, he was saying that he couldn't do his video because his children were being loud or something. So there's so many mixed messages that we get from this guy. Like it's confusing.
Not if you can really see where he's operating from, but we're working on getting people to that place right now.
That you may not even realize you're experiencing. And once you realize what it is, and once you put your finger on it, you'll totally feel free from it to an extent. But also we can make sure that we're modeling behaviors that are empathetic, not just for those around us who are watching, but also for our children, so they can truly understand how to relate to other people. Some of you might think I'm a crazy person or a whack job, and that's fine. I hope you don't spend too much time being angry with me, because that's not going to help anything either. But if I could summarize this.
Cut. It's not going to help anything either. Don't be angry with me, regardless of what it is that I've been doing or what it is that I've been saying. Just don't be angry with me. That's not going to help. That type of psyop mind control to me is most infuriating. It really pisses me off.
Video, and one way I'd say, if I'm going to talk about religion or spirituality, it'll be a new one. And I'm going to call it the 7-day empathists, because we show empathy 7 days a week. Trust me, even in...
Mockery. He's laughing, dupe and delay. Like, it's not funny what he's saying, but like, this is exactly what we're warned about not to do.
He had to come in with cuts to be able to hit these scenes. The
communities, the very small niche communities that I've been a part of, I've known not all the leaders, but I've known most of the leaders from some very unique niche communities in the Christian world, in the Torah world, the Messianic Jewish world. I'm telling you that it doesn't matter what these people believe. They're all being influenced and being negatively impacted by a total lack of empathy. And what's going to happen is we are going to have a race, a generation of kids brought up in this Orwellian society or it's really worse than Orwellian. It's more like a Brave New World, where
All right. So he went through the effort to say it's worse than Orwellian. It's a brave new world. And he brings in the Aldous Huxley cover shot here. Right. This is what he drags into a scene. He edited this in. It's a brave new world. Everybody, pay attention, please.
The children are literally bred to have zero compassion. And
All right. So he said that children are literally bred to have no compassion. He links this to our digital society, which, yes, we do not deny that that's not happening. It is being bred into people. In this digital society, the crazy thing is he's going to say that he wants to make children's cartoons.
Okay, what I want to say is
he wants to make children's content.
So what I want to say is the things that are missing from society is discipline, righteous indignation, men who stand up for truth, men who teach their children right from wrong, that don't act pacified, people that actually stand up against anything injustice, anything across the board. This is what we're lacking. He's basically Yahawahashai, who he wants to deny, right, was someone that went around, he was roughing up the feathers. He was not a sweetheart that was walking around kissing everybody on the cheek saying, I love you. He was boldly speaking truth and convicting people to be better, right? I can see the Aldous Huxley, the tortoise racer that they have as their new world order. Like, they strike hard and fast, but they gently ease into it. Like, we've been going through this for the past 100 years or maybe longer. And these people that promote this Aldous Huxley stuff, the Brave New World, we're in that generation. What we need is people to like break free of it and stand out boldly. We don't need people that are like cowardly or see the difference between what they usually use. He'll say, oh, well, they're not meek. The word meek means having the power and not using it for negativity, right? Exactly what this guy is trying to say, but he's coming out with a whole bunch of negativity. He's literally throwing out all the scriptures, all the New Testament. I mean, he's throwing it all away. The salvation of mankind, everything is just gone, right? And he's saying our kids don't have enough empathy, right? So what, is there something in the New Testament that lacks empathy? Is there like, I don't really understand his complete narrative. I'm sure you do better.
Well, I can only guess where he's planning on taking it, but this right here just screams New World Order. So it's got Brave New World, but you just put New World Order under here. And that is the agenda. That is the Freemason New World Order that we are so against. And he wants to make content towards kids that I'm going to flip this. I'm going to reverse it and suggest that he actually wants to make content towards children that's going to isolate them and make them completely devoid of the emotion and the compassion and the empathy that he's saying he wants to make content to create, because everything that he's done so far is about bringing about the New World Order, right, as is up on the screen right now.
I just don't think people really realize just how serious of a threat that is to our future. And so anyway, I have a vision and a dream that I'm really been praying about and been talking to Jackie about and a few other people. And we're really hoping to, in this near future, develop a children's cartoon series that helps to teach empathy basics to children of all ages. Because believe it or not, many children right now have a...
All right, cut. So these empathy basics, is this going to be like LGBTQ type stuff? Is this going to be anti-white training? What kind of empathy are we talking about here? It seems pretty open, pretty vague, and pretty New World Order agenda designed, in my opinion.
very difficult time sympathizing and empathizing with other children their own age over the most basic things. Basic Mike Tyson type things. Stealing,
What was
being
that?
selfish.
Was that neuro-linguistic
not sharing,
programming?
Anger.
Yeah, so he did so many cuts during this thing. This is one of the things that I noticed. Count the amount of cuts that he had during this. You can see the transitions. They're not super clean. And he has all these cuts. And when he said basically, he left that in and added the Mike Tyson meme. He could have easily removed that one and said it correctly. He's got like tons and tons and tons of cuts in this piece. Why did he put it in there? I find it interesting. What about you, brother?
Yeah, he's got the cuts. That's what you do when you write a script, and you breathe in between. You can cut those out. There's multiple times you can do cuts. That's the way he's put together this piece.
Issues, on and on and on. Complete total lack of empathy. Anyway, we'll get into that in another time. The point I'm trying to make is, in all of this confusion, I'm sorry if that's what this is. The point I'm trying to make is simply that I am trying to be as honest as I can, and in doing so I have to admit to you that I don't know. I don't know for sure anything beyond what I've only experienced myself. And with that, I'll go ahead and...
So apparently he has experienced the sun doing nothing but circles above his head, and it's never risen south of east, and it's never risen set south of west, because he only goes by his personal witnessed experience. Liar, liar, liar.
I'll just tell you what I do believe for now. And I hope that as we move forward into the future of whatever this channel becomes, that you guys will be willing to be patient with me as I continue on my truth journey to discover what is truth. For me, to me, what is truth for you.
What is truth with air quotes?
Yeah, to me. To me or to you. No, truth stands outside of our beings. We are not truth. We can speak truth and witness to it, but it doesn't need us. It doesn't care about what we feel or think.
And it doesn't need your air quotes either, J.Breezy.
To you, but as of right this moment, I'll just tell you, I believe still that the Tanakh, the Old Testament, is the inspired word of our Creator. I do believe that the instructions in there for holiness, for wisdom, are good instructions that do lead us into a relationship with our Creator that allows us to reap the rewards and benefits of being close to Him because of our love for Him, which pours over into our love for other people, of course. So other than that, I'm not sure how much more I'm comfortable sharing, simply because I don't know. This is what I know in my life.
So he really stopped short. He said, this is what I know in my life. I don't know. We've explained that you can go so much further than this, and that this is a gatekeeper that's stopping you at this point. There is so much more that can be known through observable evidence. You don't need anybody else. You can just be told to look for this evidence, find it yourself, and the process of deduction will bring you to conclusions that take you so much further than this guy is willing to take you.
This is what I've experienced, and this is what I've studied historically, archaeologically, to the extent that I'm very comfortable telling you that this is what I believe. However, I'm not really sure I want to go much farther than that at this point, believe it or not. I'm choosing, moving forward, to not pick on Christians. And my intent obviously was never to pick on Christians.
To not pick on Christians. Now we're starting to get into some of the meat of this video right here. He's not going to pick on Christians, even though his channel was named Christian Truthers.
My intent was to educate Christians. It's interesting the way the channel evolved with the name and everything.
Educate Christians with a name and everything. I think we got to do a little rewind here. Make sure everybody understands what he's talking about right now, because this is the super meat. This is the super juice of this video right now.
And my intent obviously was never to pick on Christians. My intent was to educate Christians. It's interesting the way the channel evolved with the name and everything. You know, ultimately, I came to a crossroads where I decided I can continue to try and continue talking to Christians about Christian theology and try and open the Christian mindset up to other ideas found in the Tanakh and the Old Testament.
Boom. 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 I thought I could continue to talk to Christians and get them to open their mindset to things found in the Tanakh and the Old Testament. So
Judaizer. That's the literal.
Judaizer.
That's the literal definition that he just said out loud.
Literal definition.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he could do that with his channel name, Christian Truthers. Literal definition of a Judaizer.
Well, he did, and then he pulled the rug out from under all of them and tried to take out the New Testament. That's what his entire MO was.
And we called this out years ago, because it was so obvious. It was so easy to see. But here we are now.
But I'm at a juncture now where I'm choosing no longer to focus on that. Also, I'm not going to focus on all the failures and all the things that I have found wrong, in my personal opinion, with some of the aspects of Christianity.
Yeah.
How's this going for Christians right now? How do you think an actual Christian is actually responding to his message right now? He hasn't gone far enough. He hasn't expounded upon the things that he's found wrong with Christianity, with the channel named Christian Truthers. If you don't see and understand that he is 100% a Judaizer out to undermine and literally lead to hell Christians, you are lost if you can't see that right now.
Instead, I'm going to focus on what I can do, and I'm going to focus on what I hope we all can do, regardless of our background, regardless of what we believe about Jesus or anyone else. We can all do what we need to do.
I gotta back that up because he played this real fast. Jesus, aka Yeshua, Messiah. He didn't get the name right once. Not one single time. Every single one of these are the fake Masoretic, fake pronunciations, actual names of demons. Every single one of these. He didn't get a single thing right. Nothing.
Jesus or anyone else. We can all do what we need to do to ensure first that we ourselves are truly loving each other the way that we were intended to love each other, socializing in a way that we're intended to be social, and supporting one another in a healthy way. And that starts with, first, making ourselves better. Second, preparing our children for a very strange, difficult, yet exciting and challenging future. And that's the extent of what I'm going to focus on moving forward. How we're going to accomplish that is still something that I've been praying about, studying on.
I got a suggestion.
Kind of
that he reads the New Testament. If you want to find out the ways to get to where you want to go, try reading those books, right? And there's more too. There's other extra canonical books as well that also speak to the way that we should live. If you don't already know in your heart how to be kind and love and how to share and how to bring up decent, respectful, loving people, you know, that's my suggestion.
It's crazy if you actually watch and see how many cuts were in here for him to actually lay down this bullshit that he's dropping right now.
Wrestling with, but I do know that one of the major projects we want to work on, a series for children to learn empathy, which actually might come in handy to adults too. And the second thing is to really dive back into more time sharing my experience and background, both in and out of the military, all over the world, a lot of different crazy relationships, a lot of stuff I still haven't.
So he's going to share his experience in the military, and that's the next video. So this video that we're going through right now is his explanation why he deleted all of his Christian Truthers content. He's letting you right now that he's going to go through his military background, and that's going to be the source of his content going forward. And we'll cover a little bit of his video after this, just because it's going to super highlight the crazy narcissistic position that he's coming from now. Brother?
Yeah, completely. I'm with you 100%. So are we going into the next video?
Yeah, let's just see what else he has left here.
9:21, right?
Okay.
Share with you guys from my past that I hope will be beneficial for everyone to sort of dive into. So I know you guys have 1,000 more questions. I'm going to attempt to read the comments, but I'll be honest with you, when comments just get...
So he's going to attempt to read the comments, but he's telling you right now he's not going to read the comments. And then I think he goes on to tell everybody how that you can pay him for his content that he's going to be doing. So I don't know. Like you said, we're getting deep into it. So maybe let's just jump ahead quick and see the narcissistic stuff. And I know that you have some links to share regarding, wow, over 1,000 comments that he's received on why I deleted all my videos from YouTube, J.Breezy. 1,000 comments for taking down his content, and he is 670 up to 73 down. So it's crazy in my opinion, but you know what? Everybody gets to make their own decisions. So this is his video after why he deleted it, and he said that he's going to be covering his anti-narcissism content. So let's see what
What's that hand sign on the
day life
GIF?
in the Marine Corps.
Do
you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. He was wow.
Now, there is so much psyop material in this. It's insane. We'll be able to have some fun with this intro. I'll be stopping it. Be ready, bro.
The back of the helicopter was hanging wide open. I felt like I could reach right out and put my hand on the nose of the Statue of Liberty. And through the exhaust and through the vapor and fumes, I could hardly breathe.
This was his intro. So he's military. He's in the back of a helicopter. The door is open. He feels like he could reach his hand out and touch the Statue of Liberty, but the fumes and the exhaust from this helicopter, he could barely breathe. So I want to ask you, brother, how many times have you seen fumes and exhaust from a helicopter?
Not very often, actually. No.
No fumes, no exhaust ever. Show me the fumes and exhaust from a helicopter, people. He says he could have reached out the back and touched the Statue of Liberty, but he was overwhelmed by the fumes and the exhaust of the helicopter.
We almost hit the Statue of Liberty.
Almost hit it. Wow, what an incredible story.
What's up, guys? How you doing? J.Breezy here. And I want to tell you about an encounter I had in 2005 where I actually fast roped down a 70-foot rope into the center of Central Park as part of this huge Heroes Welcome that New York City put on for the United States Marine Corps and Navy. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but believe it or not, there's a little thing called Fleet Week New York City. I'm sure some of you may be familiar with it if you've been around New York City during certain times of the year, or if you've ever been in the Marine Corps, or if you've been in the Navy, you may have heard of it. But essentially what happens is once a year, typically, well, back then at least, the Navy would commission or send an entire ship full of Marines with helicopters and gear and armor and all of their weapons and really cool tanks and Humvees and all kinds of interesting gear. And they would send that to New York City to harbor there so that we could invite the New York City residents onto the ship to come and experience life on ship and experience some of the life of being a Marine on ship.
31 years strong, Fleet Week.
Fleet Week is an opportunity for us to interact with the American public, show them the capabilities that are out forward, defending freedom all around the world.
One of the things that were involved in this process, though, were these shows, sort of like an air show except for Marines, if you will. There was also static displays, which means you have to stand there next to a machine gun for 8 hours and just answer questions about it until you can finally go out into the city and, well, party or whatever you were trying to do at the time. But those were the boring duties. The cool duties were the ones like the one I got. And so in 2005, we had just come off of a very intense Fallujah deployment. Our unit had run into a lot of trouble, just not legally. I mean, we had a lot of casualties. We had a lot of bravery, a lot of heroes coming out of our unit. And they actually decided they were going to let us be the ones to select some guys to go to Fleet Week New York for this big event. So I got selected, thankfully, and got to break away from my normal day-to-day life in the Marine Corps up at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And by the way, I was with 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, Bravo Company. I got to break out of that for a while, and I got sent to a course called Fast Rope Masters Course. And if you're not familiar with fast roping, basically what it is where you see on TV where a helicopter flies up and stops, and they drop a rope, and then a bunch of little dudes come ziplining down the rope.
All right, so I just want to point out here, he went through the effort of making this video, and he's not ashamed of making cuts and stuff like this. So
Yay!
So if we go back here and watch what he's doing, if you're supposedly a Christian and he's saying that he was in the military, we trust him because he was actually in military movies, and he's got the pictures and all that. I don't doubt that he's not part of the military. So you bring in the hand sign of a helicopter that's going to be hovering, and you're going to rappel down a rope. I guess they call it fast roping if you're not just rappelling off the side of a mountain or something like that. Do you need this hand sign to be able to demonstrate it to everybody? It seems a little Freemasonic or satanic to me. Just watch, everyone.
What it is where you see on TV where a helicopter flies up and stops, and they drop a rope, and then a bunch of little dudes come.
Do you have to do the Baphomet in order to show people coming down from a rope? Is that necessary? Without the Baphomet, could you still get the idea across that you're coming down a rope?
Ziplining down the rope. Yay! Just like that, right? All over and over. That's fast roping. And so in the Marine Corps, when you go to a course to learn to be a fast rope master, which is somebody who actually supervises the fast roping process for the Marines who are going down the rope and then going down the rope yourself. When you're going to school for that, you get to ride in really cool helicopters and do some really cool stuff. But that's another story. The point is, I was given the torturous mission of being sent into, with a team of, I don't remember how many Marines it was, probably 20, something like that. We went up to New York City, and we would actually do one show per day. We'd fly in our CH-53 helicopters.
So it's a show per day. We're talking about like SeaWorld. We're talking about like Disney World, the types of things where they would put on one show per day, and this was the show.
And we would fly over, around, and do really low maneuvers around New York City to get everybody's attention and really raise morale. And then we'd fly into the center of Central Park and hover, and then we'd all come out and fast rope down into Central Park. Well, there were barricades all over the place and police everywhere, keeping people out of our landing area because they had already set up this LZ, this landing zone for us. And they had already invited a lot of the citizens of New York to come and watch the show. So there's thousands of people surrounding this sort of roped off area that's pretty big, probably 100 meters by 100 meters, something like that. They gave us lots of space. But essentially we'd come in and we'd fast rope down, and then we'd set up a 360 perimeter, a defensive perimeter. So what that means is you come off the rope and then you immediately sprint out to fulfill your place in the 360 of security, where everyone's facing outboard with their rifles, machine guns, or whatever they brought with them. And we set up this defensive 360 security position where we actually get on a knee or lay down right in front of the crowds that were there. It's a show. It's a show for them, to show them a little bit of the capabilities that we have in securing LZs and things like that. So the craziest part about these little events actually wasn't just doing the fast roping. My unit did quite a bit of fast roping in the years before that, so that wasn't really like a huge cool thing for me at the time. What was cooler was what happened after that. So we would set the 360 up, and then the helicopter would come back around and then land and shut down its engines so that they could remove the barricades and allow the crowds to come in and talk to us. And so instead of standing next to static displays, we became the static displays. So wearing all of our Kevlars and communications gear and flax and camis and night vision stuff, and they gave us all this cool stuff to wear as if we were going into a mission, so they could really highlight some of the capabilities that we have. People actually
had some fake theater
would come, and
that's what they do. That's what we've been saying for a long time. Everybody on the other side of the screen, war is a hoax. It's a bunch of actors in a theater, right? The nukes are a hoax. The bombing capabilities that they try to tell you they have are a hoax. They don't have very good aim. They don't shoot things very well from ships. It's all nonsense. Torpedoes are nonsense. All this stuff. They don't have the capabilities that they say. What they do is they dress their guys up like Justin. They send them out into a mock city, and then they film them going through having a fake war. That's what they do. That's how it's done. He's an actor. He has an IDMB, whatever. IBMD.
I imagine it's probably the same way people that maybe like a theme park feel, who are dressed up like Spider-Man or something, where you just see kids look up at you and they're just, just total amazement. They can't.
Look at the kids look up at you in total amazement. He wants to make children's videos. The kids look up at him in total amazement because what? He's got a uniform on. and he's got a gun and he's on the ground like he's going to shoot somebody and he's a bad mamma jamma. That right there is the glory, the heroism that this guy seeks. Just wait. This is all about being a hero. Hero, hero, hero. You're gonna get worn out on the word hero soon.
Can't believe they're like, what is this thing and how do you work that, and is that a real gun, and just all that stuff. And of course it wasn't just children, it was, you know, adults too. And well, most of the Marines there were most happy about the amount of girls, of course.
See,
who
I'll
were
pause
showing-
it. I know what he's
showing us a
talking
lot of
about here.
attention.
Right? I know what this is about. Cops use this. EMT guys use this. Firefighters use this. What is it called? Badge fever or authoritarian. What they do is they use this status, you know, to prey on women, to get laid. Like, it's absolutely gross. To me, it makes me sick to my stomach. Like, I would never want to, like, try to, like, sure, looking nice, dressing well, and being a good person matters, yes. But using a uniform to get laid? I don't know, man.
Well, see, that's the thing. If I don't know if we'll get through this whole video, but if somebody were to watch this whole thing, I would ask them to actually count how many times that he infers the use of his military uniform allowed him positions to be able to get the number from the girls, to go out and party and do illicit and immoral things. So he totally glorifies and glamorizes this whole idea that the uniform was getting him laid over and over and over again. That's not an isolated instance in this video.
What I wanted to point out is, as we're going through this, I'm going to start to put the links that I had. We don't need to present them because they're live streams that we've already done. I'm going to put them in the chat for anybody. Dogs. I'm going to put them in the chat for anybody that's interested, because we'll finish out with this video because this is the newest content that he's come out with. But I want to link up some of the reasons why we're here today in the chat for anyone who's on the other side of the screen. And just so you guys know, if you're in the chat watching a video and a YouTube link pops up and you click on it, it'll take you out of the live stream, right? Or if you're watching this in the future and you click on the link to go to the link that I'm about to put in, you'll be off this page. I'm just letting y'all know.
But that's not really the point. The point is not necessarily who is showing us attention, but the fact that we were being treated as heroes. Now, these people didn't know.
Heroes. That to me, that's just gross terminology.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, so the idea that I would want to be treated as a hero, to me, is just gross. If somebody was in a car that was on fire, I would want to pull them out because I wouldn't want them to be hurt, but I don't need some sort of accolades that I'm a hero for that. If I put on a uniform and carry around a gun, I don't expect people to think of me as a better person. I would expect them to think of me as a Satanist. It's really getting crazy now.
That that our unit actually had gone and experienced a lot of difficult stuff. They just knew that we were standing in front of them and had all this cool stuff on, and we looked the part, and we're the guys that just came down that helicopter rope. So to them, we're heroes, you know, in the moment. That was one of the. I remember standing there in Central Park, and by the way, that was my first trip to New York City of all time, and so I was just kind of overwhelmed, like, wow, this is Central Park. But then on top of that, you know. All the excitement and all the eagerness and all the just sort of support and encouragement we received from the city was just overwhelming. Everywhere we went, there's a lot of stories of what occurred during that week. It's just crazy stuff. But everywhere we went, we were given a hero's welcome. And it wasn't because of what we had done. No one knew that. It was because of how we looked. And it was because of what people just assumed about us. And I don't know why, but I remember in the midst of that moment where I'm standing there for about 30 or 45 minutes and just answering questions about all kinds of stuff, of course, really enjoying the attention. But for some reason, I really just had this moment in the midst of that where I was like,
Of course, really enjoying the attention. This is the guy that is going to, you can pay him, you can join his Patreon. He's going to teach you about not being a narcissist. But he's out here telling you about this time he slid down a rope during a show, and all these kids were enthralled by him, and he was really enjoying the attention. So if it's not obvious to you that this is raging narcissism, I'm worried. I really am.
these people think that I am like Hercules right now. And realizing that like how much of a thin veil there really is, a real thin facade there really is between a real hero and a fake one. And most people can't recognize the difference, and the difference doesn't really matter as long as they're both wearing the same uniform. And that's something that I think that's something that a lot of soldiers, Marines, and anyone who's been involved in combat stuff has experienced. They've seen how if you're wearing the uniform, and even guys who haven't really done much or seen many things, if they're wearing the uniform, they're treated as if they are the hero anyways. On top.
Well, big cut, big turn. Brother, we've covered war as a hoax for a while. Is there anything you want to say about people being treated as heroes that consider themselves a part of modern warfare?
Well, yeah, they're usually scripted actors that are vicariously living through their stage work. It's very unhealthy. It's very sick. It's something that needs to be prayed about, and he needs to seek repentance of it for all of the stuff that he's talking about. That's what I would be doing if I was him. I ask for repentance daily. I'm not out here reliving my glory moments as a military man, killing people and all this nonsense. And why is he even talking about how good it felt to wear a uniform and to rappel down in a crowd and have, I don't understand his mindset when he says that he's trying to do videos about narcissism and raising up moral youth. You want your youth to be a military person with all these killing weapons so you could see in the night? Why would someone want to desensitize a child to thinking that that's good and that's a hero? A hero is the dad that goes to work with a broken leg or sicker than a dog. A hero is the drywaller that puts up the drywall on the really high dangerous spot and does it safely and risks his life just so that people can go to that hospital. The heroes are the unsung people that are fighting for truth, that don't gain anything from it in this world. They get nothing. There's no money that's given to the heroes. The true people, the true angels that are here doing the work of the Father, those are the heroes, not military people, not people that are in the government. None of these people. Sure, there are good people in the military and in the government, but if we want to talk about heroes, heroes are the single moms or the people that are in abusive relationships and they still love their children and teach their children good moral rules and values, even though they don't get treated that way. These are the heroes of our day. I don't understand where his mindset is again. This guy, it's too bad because he seems like he does have a good side to him, right? And he's talented at what he does. He's intelligent. I just don't understand his narrative at all.
Well, it seems to be scripted, but from a bad position, in my opinion.
Top of that, just the experience itself is something that is almost unimaginable. Well, it's interesting how if you were by yourself and it happened, it'd be more difficult to prove to people, and it'd be more difficult to maintain in your own mind and in your own identity that this really happened. You really are a hero to these people. You really did almost just run into the Statue of Liberty in a helicopter. You really are standing here right now. All these things are validated by the people who are around you. but especially the other Marines who were with me, who came, did the same training, made the same trip, did the same stuff. As a social collective, we sort of validated each other's identity. And we always do that, no matter what situation we're in or what peer group we are around. It was interesting to see how, as a group, as a collective identity, the military members are okay with accepting praise and okay with accepting honor and gifts and free drinks and things like that, and phone numbers. As a collective group, we sort of reinforce each other and reinforce this notion that we are heroes, we do deserve this support, etc. But as an individual, it would be much more difficult to maintain that sort of mindset. And as an individual, it is much more difficult to maintain that mindset. Those very same individuals who were part of that group that week, who really enjoyed themselves and really felt like they were being rewarded for just, I guess the sacrifices they had made. If you had taken those people as individuals and inserted them into the same situation, where there wasn't this collective identity and this sort of reinforcement, a social reinforcement that's around them, I would venture to guess that most of those people would actually be quite humble and be more quick to say, no, I'm not really a hero. I'm just a guy. Went to boot camp, stuck around, got selected, came here. As an individual, the identity seems to reveal itself a lot quicker when you're exposed to when it's 1 versus 100. But when it's you and 100 others versus the others, it's easier to maintain that collective identity and therefore maintain that individual identity as well. So in a sense, you kind of get this impression. What I'm saying is, when I see these people looking at me, and I remember that feeling, and I recall the way they felt like I was a hero. I remember.
I was a hero. I was a hero. How many people in the world talk like that? I was a hero. And then he cuts to this picture of him up here with his thumb by this hole in the metal. Like, ooh, he was in war. Right? He's such a pretty boy Freemason. This guy hasn't done jack shit anything. And if he thinks he's such a bad mamma jamma, I suggest that he challenge us to some sort of what was that guy? Logan Paul type YouTube battle. Either one of us will meet you in a ring. You're no hero whatsoever. You're a fake, you're a fraud, you're a Freemason TV actor, and nobody's buying what you're laying down.
Just kind of feeling like, well, I'm a hero if you say I am. If you say so, then it must be. But these same people, if they had treated me with disrespect and disdain and hated what we did, then I wouldn't be a hero, and it would be a completely different story. So it all had to do truly with people's perception of me more than the reality of who I am. Another interesting aspect of these type of situations and going through these situations is that people are left with a sort of choice at the end of each of these events, where you're honored and appreciated and just recognized. Everyone ends up in this position where they have to
honored, appreciated, and recognized. So he's going back to his glory days of being in the military. He came down the rope in New York City. All these kids looked at him, and he thought he was a hero because he slid down a rope doing a show like he was in gym class.
deciding whether or not they're going to believe that they're a hero. And most people over time come to the truthful realization and the epiphany that they actually are not a hero. And although people might think they are, and although they might have a lot of support and love, that they internally, they actually don't They feel like they know that the truth is they're really not a hero. And some people are able to draw that conclusion based on just the circumstances and reality of the world they live in, but others, that reality settles in over a longer period of time where they do receive some adoration, some glory, and they really cling onto that identity and they try and hold on to it as long as they can. But
Does anybody have any idea of what's taking place right now? Is he trying to cling on to some identity of when he slid down a rope in New York City? This is literally titled "The Time I Fast Roped into Central Park, J.Breezy." He's doing 100% exactly what he's talking about right now, everyone. Please understand.
over time that dwindles, that fades, the interest is lost. There's a new fad of the week. The war is now null, and that's over. And the realization eventually dawns on people who cling to these false notions of personal heroics, that they're really not, and that actually isn't going to get them anywhere. But then
He actually sounded really broken and super weak right there. And I get where you're coming from with your empathy, brother, because I do believe that this guy suffers with what it is he's projecting out on other people. Like, I really do feel that everything that he said exposes his weakness as far as wanting to be the hero, wanting to be recognized, and missing and living the glory days of being a Marine and kids walking up and being all googly eyed and thinking that he was somehow a hero. He misses that.
the question is, are they really heroes though, or are they not? So, and that's where I'm not going to try and confuse anyone, but
So that point right there, whether or not they're actually heroes or if they're just Freemasonic psyop agents, he doesn't want to talk about that. It seems like something he wants to just gloss over, whether or not they're really heroes. Why not have a channel dedicated to whether or not military guys that slide down ropes in New York City are just part of the satanic psyop system? Dedicated channel to that. That would actually be quality content.
what we decide to focus our emphasis of importance on, what we validate as being worthy of our time and worthy of accomplishment, those are the things that we gauge ourselves against. Those are the things that we say, are we like this? Are we like that? We've decided these things are important, these things are valuable, and we now are going to compare ourselves to these things to determine our personal identity and determine whether or not we are okay, or whether or not we are doing well, or whether or not we are important. So even for false heroes who are treated like heroes, and then also for real heroes who are treated like heroes, in both circumstances, both people will come ultimately to the realization that the external temporary accomplishments of this life are not going to permanently create feelings of heroism. No single accomplishment or even list of accomplishments in this life will create a long-lasting, forever and permanent feeling of...
That's wrong. That's wrong. The kind deeds that we do, the love and the righteousness that's shared here, will be remembered forever. This is a real game with real stakes. Everything we do is recorded. Every action, every choice, it's all being laid bare. It's all seen in the light. So we strive for the things that we won't be rewarded for in this life. That's what we are commanded to do. Not to become heroes that are military men or cops or anti-narcissists. That's not it. It's the things that nobody sees you do that will be remembered. So for him to say that nothing will be remembered is an absolute lie.
There's been many.
Identity that is just positive and heroic and wonderful. I saved someone's life one time when I was in 5th grade, and so I will always feel like Superman the rest of my life. You know that's not how it works. It's always the negative voices that are the loudest in our lives, and it's the negative voices that echo and reverberate
Not
in the
mine.
halls of our
Whoa.
mind
No,
more than the positive.
no. That again, that's MK projecting. The negative voices are the least loudest. They're the quietest in my mind that I fight back and override. I step outside of the ego and defeat those things. I don't put them prominent in my mind saying they're the loudest voices. What kind of sick psyop talk is that?
Well, and notice that he had to do a cut into that scene. This is like, in order to get the look, in order to get the whole projection of the whole situation, trying to psyop the truth, he had to like cue himself into it and try multiple times. That's the reason why the cut is there.
Positive does for some reason. And one of the things that I've been studying lately is how to rearrange the way, reshaping the way you determine what information is valuable to you and to your identification and to your self-worth. So what validates who we are or destabilizes who we are? What determines if you're really a hero, if you feel like you're a hero, if you think you're a hero, whether or not you're deplatformed and destabilized?
Wow, he goes from all this hero talk
From that
to his baby faced hanging a gun around him picture inside a hut, right? Hero. Gotta be a hero.
Yeah, it's crazy what he's saying here.
that identity, and then you actually feel like worthless instead, even though the opposite might be true. It really has to do purely with our
What kind of Kabbalah backtalk
collective
is that? Or the
and
opposite
social.
might be true. He just throws that out there.
Yeah, well, the opposite is true. That's what we've been showing. You just take it 180 degrees from where he's putting it, and all of a sudden you land on the truth. He's got everything reversed, flipped, super backwards.
Identity, where we fit in against the backdrop of our referenced reality. Essentially, what I'm saying is it all boils down to who we decide to give our trust to, who we decide to allow.
Not the Savior. Not the
to
Savior.
determine.
Right? Not the Savior. We don't give our trust to Yahawahashai and the 12 people that accompany him and Paul. We're not going to give that. No, we don't trust that they were inspired by the Holy Spirit. We don't trust that. He's going to tell you what to trust. It's just crazy.
He already admitted in his other video that he's anti-Christian. The reason why he has quote unquote Christian truthers is to try to convert Christians to Judaism,
Yeah,
right?
Judaize. Yeah, that's he literally said that. Yes.
Who we are will have a vast impact in how we feel about ourselves, how we act, and how we treat other people. Most importantly, it will have a giant impact on your emotional well-being, your emotional stabilization as you try and navigate who you are and where you fit into this world.
He's got a cut there. I just want to I want to point out that anybody that we isolate as somebody trying to lead people off into Judaism or any other psyop out there, we're going to call them out because we consider ourselves watchmen. If you want to consider yourself a watchman and you're not calling anybody out, if you don't have the who you called out, when you called them out, how you called them out, why you called them out, all of these things detailed, if you don't have the SEO, if you don't have the titles, the tags, and all that kind of stuff to back up the reason why you would call this person out, you're not a watchman. You can't even classify yourself as a watchman. So these are the things that we've been doing for years, and we were able to pick off guys like this, Adam Fink, Parable of the Vineyard, and many others. It's really simple. Anybody that backs up the Freemason New World Order AE map model is tied into a Freemasonic psyop. And then we've pointed out war is a hoax, that the military, the things that they say are taking place, psyop after psyop after psyop, missiles, nukes, you name it. There's no end to the list of the psyops in the military, and this guy thinks that being in the military is somehow being in a heroic role. It's just psychotic.
I know it might seem like a weird, crazy tie-in, but for me, when we fast roped into Central Park in 2005, and I was met with such a hero's welcome, something about that experience left me kind of looking around left and right at the other people around me and realizing how easy it could be for me to believe them, to agree with them, to allow myself to believe that I am a hero. Look at these people. They believe I'm a hero. I am a hero. I just, for some reason, I remember having this moment where I was just like, that's really interesting that they don't even know me and they think that I'm a hero. Deep.
I find that really creepy.
Yeah. How much is left?
2 minutes.
Okay.
Really creepy.
Deep down inside, I felt like if only they could really know me, they would think that I am not. So that's all for now. I'm not going to ramble.
What is that supposed to mean?
Not a hero.
Not a hero. Like, if you really know me, you would know I'm not a hero. Like, if that's not personal admission, I don't know what it is. Like, came out of his mouth.
On too much and just go into nowhere with this. Who you decide to hang out with, who you decide to influence you in your life, who you decide you allow to tell you who you are will have a ginormous impact. What you say about yourself, what you believe about yourself, and who you hang out with will change the course of your entire life. So I encourage you out there, anyone listening, if you're still here, surround yourself with positive people who love you and will correct you with gentleness when it's necessary, but mostly are not out to look for your flaws, but instead are out to humbly love you, who are out to understand your needs and help you with those needs, who are out to
humbly love you, understand your needs. So you can join his Patreon and he can humbly love you and tell you what your needs are. But the fact that everything else that he's telling you is observably, demonstrably false, impossible, not true, Freemasonic psyop stuff, just skip over that part, please. Right?
truly care about the way you feel instead of disregarding your feelings as if they don't matter. That's all for now. I got plenty of stories. I could talk all night. I just need to get off of here before I keep rambling. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Shalom. Brothers and sisters.
Yep. That was it, bro.
Shalom, pay me, right?
Well,
106 comments on that crap.
well, that's his message, right? We all went through it tonight together, and you can be your own judge, you do your own research, you do your own thinking. Don't take everything that Jason and I say as gospel or inspired word, because we're just sharing our opinions on what we see, and if it happens to be true, it stands outside of us as just truth.
Yeah, we always recommend testing it because, well, at least that's that's the way that we got to the conclusion that we did, and we would expect that if you tested it, you would come to the same conclusion. If not, we would like to see the discrepancy and see where it lays so that we could see whether or not we had made a mistake, and we're happy to correct when we do. But you really have to test it for yourself in order to confirm it for yourself and be able to stand grounded, firm on truth, because so many people come along and spout off this and that, and if you haven't tested it for yourself, you can't actually say whether or not you back it up or not.
Mhm.
All right, it could just be pure nonsense. Could.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over.
Yeah. So again, thank you everybody for being here tonight. Hopefully we did our job as watchmen to show you what's going on with the New Testament killer, the update. I'm looking forward to this next week. We'll see if we're live. I don't know if we will. We do know the equinox is coming up. We'll be covering that guaranteed in the future, probably next weekend at the very latest. And
Yeah, so next Sunday we'll set us up for, we'll have to cover on next Sunday the equinox. Make sure everybody knows what they're looking for, because during the midweek of next week we will have the equinox. So we'll be looking for 90 east, 270 west, and equal day and night all throughout the world. And then we're going to be looking for the next new moon after that. So we got to talk about that next week.
Yep, that's what we're going to do. Again, thanks everyone for being here tonight. Ask for forgiveness from the Father and help fulfill his will. That's my last word.
Go Team Yahawashai. See y'all soon.